Welcome to the Real Comic Heroes Podcast. Your adventure into the world of comic book movies starts here.
Greetings, citizens, and welcome to another adventure of the Real Comic Heroes Podcast. My name's Travis.
And I'm Patrick.
And we are here for another exciting character review episode after riding the high from Jurassic Park. We thought we'd, just take a break from movies for an episode.
Yeah, before we crash land into Robocop 3.
Yeah. A little
Jetpack gave out. Turns out
Yeah.
it was a prototype.
Yeah.
Last week I did pretty good. Last character episode I did pretty good.
Yeah, I think we were about 50-50. We had the Tick and Mitchell 100, then Renee Montoya and Wonder Woman. So
yeah, so I'll take that.
Yeah.
Who knows? We'll see what today leads us down.
Well, let's jump on into it if you're ready.
Oh, I was born ready.
I thought so.
Survey says.
Ooh, number 9, the Hulk.
Ha! I know him. I know that guy.
Yeah.
We work together.
That's the guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a friend from work.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew something like that. Yeah, the Hulk.
Yeah.
To me, he's always going to be the 1970s show.
Oh, really?
That's what I grew up watching reruns of that.
Okay. Yeah.
Just like Bruce Banner and Bill Bixby as Bruce Banner and Lou Ferrigno as the Incredible Hulk version.
As David Banner.
Oh, is it David Banner? Oh,
in
wow.
the 70s show.
Okay.
I think
I've
the
just mixed it
reason. Well, I guess maybe it's a rumor. Maybe it's completely wrong. But
Mandela effect.
No, it's like
Okay.
it's they were worried that the name Bruce might make him come off as gay or something. Like,
when I found out that they were changing the name from Bruce Banner to David Banner, I asked the logical question, why are you doing that? His name is supposed to be Bruce. And some genius at the network said, oh no, Stan, Bruce makes him sound homosexual. It sounds gay. I said, there's Bruce Jenner, the athletic decathlon champ. There's Bruce, well, I don't think I knew Bruce Willis at the time, but I mentioned that. Didn't faze him. No, we don't like the sound of Bruce. So you can't change his name. He's been David Banner. He's been Bruce Banner for all these years, but they were the network and they were in charge.
That's what I've always heard or read. It could be completely made up. I don't know, but
Because around that time, Bruce Jenner was like a huge, Olympic star.
yeah.
So I wouldn't have thought Bruce meaning like anything to do with being homosexual.
I don't know, and maybe again,
That's
maybe
so
that's
weird.
something that I read like 15 years ago, and I don't know. I'd have to look that up again.
So David Banner then.
Bruce Banner.
Wait, what? Okay.
Yeah.
David Banner to Bruce Banner.
Right.
Okay. But he's also Bruce David Banner.
I think so. Or maybe it's.
Okay.
I might be wrong about that. Maybe it's.
Oh, good lord. Okay.
Yeah. Either way, in comic form, he was started out as Bruce Banner. First appearance, The Incredible Hulk #1, May of 1962.
Oh, okay, so it wasn't out much longer before the TV show then.
I guess, yeah, comparatively not. It's
Yeah. I mean,
because I'm pegging that show at probably 1977.
yeah, I would say
Something
around
like
there.
that.
I was thinking late 70s. It's yeah, 77 to 82.
Okay.
So
yeah.
spot on, Travis. Look at you.
Well, I think because I remember the Captain America movie we did was 76, and I think that was kind of around that era of like Marvel doing, because that would have been a TV pilot. I think we discovered or whatever. But anyways, so yeah, I'm hit or miss with the Hulk. I've really enjoyed what they've done with him in the MCU. Of course, the portrayal by Mark Ruffalo, and I don't mind the Edward Norton movie as a standalone Hulk movie. I don't mind it.
See, I think I only like the Hulk as part of a group.
Yeah, and that's probably how he works best.
I don't like the weird offshoot thing with like other gamma radiated beings, like the guy with the giant brain head
Sure.
thing, and I think there's like a Red Hulk and
Yeah,
like there's offshoots of Hulk. I know there's She-Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I kind of like my favorite. I think aside from the recent stuff, is probably Planet Hulk.
Oh, I love Planet Hulk.
That's just really well done.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like the first time he's come across like as a really well done, complicated character, like as the Hulk.
Yeah,
like I feel like he sometimes gets pigeonholed as just an angry thing.
Yeah.
When he's the Hulk, but he actually seemed to have a personality in Planet Hulk.
Yeah, and that was one of those runs where for the entire arc of Planet Hulk, like Bruce Banner never showed up. Like he stayed the Hulk the entire time, and of course it's he was the Hulk with some intellect, not near as smart as
Sure.
Banner, but he wasn't just the savage dumb brute. He had a bit of his own personality. I guess they probably got pretty close to it with the way Hulk appeared on in Thor Ragnarok. That was
because
he was a little more
Bruce was
angry.
Gone for a while, right?
What's that?
Bruce was gone for a while in Thor Ragnarok, right?
He hadn't really been around since Hulk arrived on Sakaar.
I remember him freaking out about it.
Yeah.
So this is like an offshoot of that kind of.
Yeah.
It's intertwined in some way, but drastically different.
Yeah. There was. It's funny. Like I've mentioned before, I've been reading all these early Marvel comics from the beginning, and they really take a long time to get going with the Hulk. Like to the point where he appears in Incredible Hulk #1, and then I think it goes like 7 issues, and then they just stop the book. Probably because I think it just had a hard time getting its footing, and then he shows up in Avengers. It's like he's the reason the Avengers formed, was because Loki tricked the Hulk into kind of going on a rampage. So it took Thor, Iron Man, Giant Man, or Ant-Man, the Wasp. I think it was just those 4. It took them forming to take down the Hulk. So and then like 2 or 3 issues later, he like kind of joined the team, but then was too volatile and could just go off on a rampage at a moment's notice. So he left the team, and then like a little while later, he popped up in like they started doing a thing where they would split books in 2, and so he would show up on is it Tales of Suspense, or that's the Iron Man Captain America book. I think it's Tales to Astonish, where it's like half of the first part of the book is always like a Namor story, and then the second half is a Hulk story. So that's the version I'm currently reading, and it's going pretty good. It's mostly him like always on the run from Thunderbolt Ross, and the army, and occasionally a new bad guy will pop up, and so Hulk will save the day, but it will still like seem like Hulk caused the problem in the first place, so he's never like made out to be the hero,
Yeah.
It's probably one of those things that that TV show kind of nailed, is the loneliness and the sadness of being Hulk. Like it's like Banner is just always going to be alone because Hulk's going to be there, even if he saves the day, he still kind of messes things up or whatever. But
I mean, it was like they didn't call it a meme back then, but you'd play the sad Hulk music as like a comic relief moment.
Another kind of strange thing about Hulk is that we associate the anger as part of Hulk, right? He gets angry, he turns into the Hulk, and it was a long time before they really firmly established that in the comic. For a while, it was like something he could do because he becomes the Hulk because he saves Rick Jones from taking a full blast of this gamma bomb that they were testing. Like, he shoves Rick Jones down into a ditch and can't get down in there in time, so he takes the full, blast from quite a distance. So it's not like he was at the center of the blast or anything, but takes all that gamma radiation, and then I want to say he would have to hit himself with, like, he created a like a ray gun kind of apparatus, and he would hide in a cave. Like, Bruce Banner set up all this equipment in a secondary lab inside of a cave that no one knew, that the army didn't know about, and so he would like go there to escape and then turn himself into the Hulk. So it was like it like I said, it took him a little while to establish the idea of just anger turning him into the Hulk. So,
and then eventually he's always angry.
Yeah, that still is one of the best moments in a movie theater, especially like seeing Avengers like opening weekend, or I may have seen that at a midnight show. I can't remember, but that moment was everyone just cheers and applause just for that moment.
Yeah, I think that is like it's like the best turn of phrase I've seen in a movie.
Oh yeah,
kind of blows your mind that it's not that he turns into the Hulk when he's angry. He turns into Bruce when he's calm.
Yeah.
It's almost like the inverse. It messed with my mind afterwards. Like,
oh yeah.
Trying to reevaluate what I do about that character.
Yeah.
Because in the TV show he'd like bust his knuckle on a tire iron and all of a sudden Hulk out.
Yeah, he'd skin his knee and
yeah. It kind of became like almost like a comic thing. Like,
yeah,
you're like, how's he gonna do it this week?
Yeah.
Oh no, a bee stung him.
Well, he was always getting into scraps with like dock workers and people who were like on the take. It was just always like the same kind of run-ins. It was always like some shady businessman who had a team of henchmen, kind of thing. And I don't know.
Hulk.
Yeah,
made quite the impression.
Oh yeah,
I could see. I'm kind of surprised he's number 9.
Okay.
I'm assuming the movies helped. Because I don't feel like I saw a lot of Hulk between the TV show and then Avengers.
He had a big run, a big, was it Peter David? That had a pretty legendary run in the comics with Hulk. So he was big in like the 80s, in comics, I guess. But kind of one of those. Kind of became not secondary, but as far as Marvel goes, like he wasn't Spider-Man or the X-Men, and they dominated the 90s. So yeah, Hulk was kind of up there with the Avengers as far as being like just characters that had been around for a while, but no one was really doing anything with. But
gotcha.
Yeah. Want to move on?
Yeah.
67. Are we sure we haven't done 60? Oh, okay. 67 is the Hank Pym Ant-Man. We've talked about Eric O'Grady Ant-Man. That was our first time we did this, I think, or maybe second time. So we've kind of talked about some Ant-Man, but not Hank Pym, who was like Ant-Man, Giant Man, Yellow Jacket, Goliath.
Jeez.
Like, yeah, he's just one of those guys that just kept reinventing himself, but he always still had the same power set. Like, he could be big or small.
Is Hank Douglas in the movie?
Yes, the original Ant-Man. He's one of the original, founding Avengers. Goes back to the first appearance was Tales to Astonish number 27, January of 62.
Okay, so similar time frame for the Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he comes across as a crotchety scientist, but I guess that's because his old lady got put into the negative zone or whatever the hell it was.
Well, and that's, as far as that's how it works in the movie. And I do I like how Michael Douglas plays him. He's probably one of those characters that maybe we should have had in part of like the build up to the Avengers. Maybe instead of a Hawkeye, but I kind of get why they didn't do Ant-Man. I like the way they then incorporated him and making Hank Pym someone who had been around in the early days of S.H.I.E.L.D. and had done some adventuring and a bit of costumed, heroics and things like that. So, but I of course, again, going back to the early comics I've been reading, he's all over the Avengers books. He's currently like running around on the team as Goliath, who is like, he's not quite like Giant Man level. They consider him a giant, but he's like, he can be like 10 feet tall. And for a long time he got stuck. He got stuck at 10 feet tall. So it was like, he was just running around just pissed off. 'Cause it's like, how am I going to live in this world as a 10-foot tall freak? And he's, you can't like ride in a car with anybody, he's like too big to really be inside anywhere. So it was kind of a long, it really just made him real sour and kind of a jerk to everybody. But luckily they've recently figured out how to let him go between, normal size and then giant size and back down to his ant size. So he's a little bit better, but
was he like just like some reckless scientist character, or?
I wouldn't say reckless. I think, if I remember right, even the shrinking down to size thing was an experiment that he was aiming for. Like that was his goal. So he totally nailed it. And it was never, from what I can remember, it's never been an issue of like, a freak accident went wrong and suddenly I could do this, because at least in his origin, it's not like he couldn't do it because his body changed. It was very it was a technical ability. Like if he wore this suit and took the pill to make himself bigger, or a pill to make himself smaller, and then he'd have to take a pill to make himself bigger. So it was like, it was very science, not real science based, but it wasn't like I said, it wasn't an accident. It wasn't a spider bite or an ant bite, something like that made him a freak. It was just his scientific know-how that allowed him to do this. And then he used the same science on Janet, turned her into the Wasp. And the weird thing, when she would go small and become the Wasp, she would grow antenna and wings. Like that was somehow part of her. Like I think he might have altered her DNA a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a suit that had that. It was actually
right.
her.
Yeah. So kind of makes her cooler. They might have kind of done away with the antenna part of it, but
that just makes me think of like The Fly. Like something horrible is just bound to happen.
Yeah.
If you're messing with genetics. Wow, I didn't know that part. Okay. Now I was just curious because you mentioned him getting stuck at 10 feet, so I kind of pictured him like, well, I'm 5'9". If my big pill makes me this size when I'm a tiny little Ant-Man, what if I take it now and I become 20 feet tall or something?
Oh.
Like, I guess I didn't quite understand how he got into being giant.
Oh, yeah. I
like
think
why
it was
he went in the reverse direction, essentially.
I think so. Just like, well, if I can make someone small, why not make someone big,
Why would you want to, honestly? Because if you're going to be like a help to anyone, I imagine being small would be more useful. Big, you're just I guess you're a distraction at least, but
yeah, I find that when I'm reading stories where he or scenes with him, I enjoy it when he goes small a lot more than I enjoy it when he's just big. Because when he's big, they kind of treat it like he's the muscle of the team, and it's like I'd rather just have the Hulk. But I get why the Hulk doesn't work on a team, so I get why we don't have the Hulk. So he's kind of a replacement, but I know one, going to the Ultimate Avengers kind of run of, I didn't really read a lot of the Ultimates comics, but I did watch the animated Ultimate Avengers movie that they came out with, and they kind of made a point there to say when he becomes Giant Man, it's not like he gets superhuman strength.
Yeah.
He's certainly stronger because he's bigger, but it's not like still the Hulk. He's no match for the Hulk, you know.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's. It doesn't really increase. I guess technically it increases his strength proportionate to his size.
Yeah.
So,
but doesn't it when he's tiny? Isn't he like strong too though?
Which doesn't make any sense. So, but yeah,
that's why I was getting confused.
Yeah.
Like, the smaller he gets, the stronger he gets.
Yeah.
The bigger
Well, he stays
the
the same.
weaker he
Exact.
gets.
Yeah. It's weird. And another
Oh,
thing
is it because of the whole ant strength?
I guess
Like,
maybe,
You can
but
do 10
shouldn't
times
be
your
because
strength.
yeah, because it's not like he's not like Spider-Man where he has the proportionate strength of a
Yeah.
spider. You know, he doesn't
'Cause when
have.
he's human size, he's not 10 times stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's confusing.
Yeah. I mean, it works, and especially scenes like they did in Ant-Man, you know, where he is going back and forth between normal and small and punching people left and right and, you know, out of nowhere and that stuff. Obviously it's a fun little power set for him.
I like he's got the power to talk to ants.
Yeah, because of the helmet that he wears. Yeah. Or he can, I don't know that he can like converse with them, but it's kind of like I can send signals and
Yeah, I'm not
you know,
saying they're like having a coffee talk or something, but
yeah.
I like that part of the first Ant-Man.
Yeah. Another change that they did for the MCU was having Tony Stark and Banner create Ultron. In the comics, it was Hank Pym created Ultron. He was just tinkering around, you know, trying to create artificial intelligence. So he creates Vision. I can't remember what order it happens in. I think he creates Vision first, and then maybe creates Ultron later, like trying to improve upon, and then it just somehow becomes a bad version, or I don't know. So
I guess that's confusing if you're, because like you mentioned like Hank is like a founding Avenger, but in the MCU the Avengers are just now founded.
Yeah.
So yeah, timelines are screwy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Because he comes across as like I don't know. In the movies, it made it seem like him and his wife were kind of like on their own with maybe some. Because Shield, I don't even know how. Yeah, I mean, we know at least goes back to the '90s when Blockbuster was around per Captain Marvel.
Well, the scene in Endgame where Cap and Tony go back to the past, that's like the 60s.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Okay, yeah, the time frames always mess with my mind.
Well, in that TV show, the Agent Carter TV show, like they.
It's true.
I think that was like in the 50s, so she was kind of helping set up Shield then or something.
Yeah.
But
good point. I think I just think of Shield with whatchamacallit, Sam Jackson's character.
Yeah, Nick Fury. Yeah.
Nick Fury. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things I knew about Hank Pym for a long time was that he was known as being like he had been a wife beater. You know, he had hit Janet at one point. And so he was just known as being like a real kind of piece of shit. I don't know what the context was for it, but I do remember reading that it was a misunderstanding between the artist and the writer, and however it was written or like it was outlined that he would maybe get angry, and I think the artist may have drawn it in a way that made it look like I'd have to look at the panel and actually see when and how it happened, but I remember hearing or reading that it wasn't intended to be that way, and then it got like somehow just in the creation of the story, it came out that that Hank hit her.
I'm looking at the panel.
Okay. Does it seem to show explicitly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe
It's,
what I read may have been like, again, that the outline or the art the writer didn't indicate that he hit her, but then the artist may have drawn it that he hit her or something like that. There's some kind of misunderstanding in it.
She's like saying he can't go through with it.
Okay.
And he's like, she's like, I can't let you. And then it's a whack.
Okay.
She's like in a 90 or something. And he's in his blue and yellow suit.
Okay.
And then he just says, shut up. I've got to do this.
Oh, wow.
I've got to save the day right before their eyes.
Okay.
Don't you see? It's my only chance to redeem myself. It's the only way.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's got a big whack, like Batman
Okay.
style, right across her. Well, technically, that looks like her shoulder, but her head's thrown back, so I'm guessing it was her face.
Well,
But yeah, it's like
so
a
there you go.
backhand.
Okay.
It's pretty obvious.
Yeah. So, yeah. Hank Pym,
Oof.
piece of shit.
Well, at least, you know what? There are pieces like that out there.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I guess it's ballsy to put that out there.
Sure.
And, shine a light on it.
Yeah, yeah.
Sucks for the character, but
yeah.
Fortunately, as you see in your other podcast with the Watchmen, there's heroes that aren't exactly heroes.
Sure. And that's that one thing I always, I guess, keep in mind with Hank Pym is like he's always seeking to be. I think it's that he wants to be remembered for greater than he really is, because it's like he's always trying to either one up somebody or like show that he's the smarter. He's smarter than Tony Stark, or he's smarter than Reed Richards. So he creates Ultron, not intending it to be evil, but it's like there's that. He kind of went on I think Janet died at one point, and so he took up her name as of the Wasp. He was running around as Wasp for a while, and then like started getting more angry, more violent, and became Yellow Jacket. So it's like he's always like trying. Yeah. I don't know. There's something about him that I think he doesn't know where he fits. Like he's not necessarily the smartest. He's not the smartest genius in the MCU. He's not the strongest. He's not the he's not whatever. He's not better than really anybody. So
he's got an inferiority complex.
Yeah,
but he's also
there you
one
go.
Of the top minds.
That's a
just not
perfect
the
way
top.
Yeah. Never been a huge Hank Pym fan. Just because like there's always just someone else kind of doing it better, I think. But I like the power set.
Be careful, he might slap you.
That's true. So maybe we should move on.
All right. So far, I've known both of these, so right now it's looking pretty good for me.
Number 61. Okay, Blue Beetle.
Hey, I know him.
Yeah?
From a cartoon.
Okay.
I can't think of the cartoon, though.
Okay.
But I know his character. It's like a symbiotic thing, that like a suit that's also got its own kind of mindset, I guess. I don't know how else to put that.
It's like almost like an alien symbiote kind of thing, but not like
kind of like Venom, but not as intrusive.
More mechanical, more yeah. So that is like the current, or I don't even know if it's current, but it's one of the new Beetles.
Okay.
What's his name? He's a Hispanic character. Javier. No, maybe he's Hispanic. I can't recall his name right away, but so the original Blue Beetle, I think the original is Ted Cord.
Yeah,
but that might be wrong. Like. He might be the second Blue Beetle. Now that I think about it,
he's the first one that pops up when I search. Maybe he's just the most famous.
Blue Beetle, let's see. First appearance, Captain Atom, number 83 from November of 1966, which, let's see, this is the Ted Cord version, which I thought there was an older one. Because some of those DC characters, like...
Oh, Dan Garrett?
Dan Garrett Blue Beetle? Let me look that up.
At least it goes Dan Garrett, then Ted Cord, then Jamie Reyes.
Okay, Jamie Reyes. Okay.
At least on Wikipedia. Whatever that's worth.
Okay. So Blue Beetle is, I think the Dan Garrett one, I think, goes back to 1939.
Yeah, it says
Mystery
Blue Beetle
Men.
number 4, October 1940. So yeah.
Okay. So this is the Blue Beetle that I know probably the most, and I don't know much about Blue Beetle other than like I know the name Ted Cord. I know that he's like they kind of came up with this version. I always heard like as a not a direct comparison to Spider-Man, but like DC said like, hey, we want an insect, hero, so let's take Blue Beetle, who was this one guy, and we'll just make him the new Blue Beetle. And the thing I know Blue Beetle for the most is in Watchmen, the entire like idea for Night Owl is he's just taken from Blue Beetle. Like because they couldn't use the literal DC version or DC characters. Like Alan Moore wanted to do, actual DC characters in Watchmen, but they wouldn't let him. So he like just created new characters, but they were all kind of based on specific people. And so Night Owl 1 and 2 were based off of like the Hollis Mason original Night Owl was based off of, I guess, Dan Garrett. And then Ted Cord would be the Dan. But yeah, even down to like in Watchmen, Night Owl 2 has the owl ship.
Yeah.
And Blue Beetle, this Ted Cord Blue Beetle has a beetle. I don't know if it's called the Beetle, but it's a flying, it's his kind of vehicle that.
Yeah. It seems like Ted Cord was the Batman version of the Blue Beetle because it says he didn't have superpowers, just gadgets.
Yeah.
But the first one, Dan Garrett had special vitamins that gave him superpowers.
Oh, okay.
And then a sacred scarab.
Okay.
Yeah. So it looked like it started out like the one I know today.
Yeah.
But then Ted Cord took it more of a inventor.
Yeah, I've heard him
kind of guy
compared to be like kind of a Tony Stark Iron Man kind of character.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I've never really read much with Blue Beetle in it. I just kind of know the legacy of the character a little bit, and of course because I've done enough, research into Watchmen that I know that he's the kind of the blueprint for the Night Owl characters.
Gotcha.
So,
I like the Jamie Reyes version.
Yeah,
it's kind of fun.
Yeah,
I must have seen him on like Teen Titans or something.
Probably, maybe Young Justice, or maybe even
it could be a
probably
combination.
Probably not Unlimited.
Yeah, because I know he gets his own story arc in the cartoon or animated series, I should say. Sorry.
Yeah.
Because there's like a race of beetles, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
Like there's other beings that have these same scarab things.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't know. There seems to be some kind of outer space link or something to it. But yeah, I mean, I haven't really dug into him much further than watching those few episodes. So.
Yeah. I know they often, like in the 80s, I think paired him up with Booster Gold. Like they were...
Booster Gold.
Yeah.
Is he the guy that's like from the future that's trying to be a hero in the past?
Yeah. And like he uses his knowledge, of like, to him, what is knowledge of the past that he uses, to, I think, kind of be at the right place, the right time, kind of stuff.
Okay.
Something like that. I don't know. But...
Hey, come on, give me some props for knowing Booster Gold.
No, yeah, that was good.
Could tell you where I remember that from.
I think they've done
such a cheesy name.
Yeah.
That's about all I got on the beetle that is blue.
I'm there with you.
Hey, 3 for 3. Look at me.
Yeah. Oh, and I couldn't think of Dan Dryberg is the name of Night Owl 2 in Watchmen.
Oh.
That was driving me nuts. I don't know why. I completely blanked on it, but I wanted to get that down for the record.
Yeah, because in Watchmen, there's an old owl and then the new owl, right? Yeah.
Yes. Hollis Mason is the old owl. This is weird. We're going from 61 to 60.
3 in the 60s.
Yeah. I don't think we've done 60. Ooh. This is going to be a quick wrap up here. I guess it's Phony Bone. Have you ever heard of a comic series called Bone? He kind of looks almost like Casper the Ghost, but he's not. Wow. I don't think he's a ghost. Let's see. So it's Phony Bone, or it's Fone.
Yeah.
Bone.
Yeah, Phony Bone.
Okay. First appearance, Thorn, Tales from the Lantern, #1, September 1983.
Just an FYI, it's Fonsible P. Phony Bone.
It's what?
Fonsible P. Phony Bone.
Oh, that's like his full name?
That's his whole thing, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Phony's in parentheses. So.
Oh. See, this...
I guess that's his nickname for Fonsible.
Okay. IGN is listing him as just Phony Bone.
This is some fandom site on fandom.com.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. According to IGN...
I've never seen this person in my life.
Okay. I've only seen him in... like when I used to read Wizard magazine, and like there'd be articles, or like he would be in the magazine. People would talk about Bone, but I have never read a Bone comic. I know the creator's name, Jeff Smith, just because, again, like I saw Bone like enough in that magazine that, just repetition, says, if the comics medium has its own Lord of the Rings, it would be Jeff Smith's Bone. And since every epic saga needs a Frodo, Phony Bone is the one who fits the bill. This earnest, courageous resident of Boneville is clearly the hero of the saga in lieu of... Oh, this is going to get confusing. In lieu of the scheming Phony Bone. So the actual, like, spelled Phoney...
Yeah.
Like phony. Okay, so that's just stupid. And dim-witted Smiley Bone. His good nature and his unrequited love for his ally Thorn make Fone, or whatever his name is, the heart and soul of this fantastic book. So
I'm already bored.
Yeah, moving on.
Holy hell.
Yeah.
How is
I recognize the character, but I have no other...
it must
no
be like
deeper
a cult following or something.
I think it was an indie hit. People probably tired of capes and superheroes, looking for something that was more creative, and I don't know, but
because that's a hard pass for me.
Yep.
I'm good. He looks like a video game character.
Okay. Yeah, I just think he looks like Casper, because he's just kind of a white shape, vaguely like anthropomorphic, but big bulbous head and big nose and just cartoony eyes. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I'm good.
But
I'm surprised he's 60 though.
Yeah.
Never heard.
Nope.
All right, I think we need another one just because that one left me feeling weird.
All right, we'll squeeze in one more, which might be...
If it's Smiley Bone, I'm going to be very upset.
Yeah. 97. Adam Strange.
Oh.
Which...
Wait, is that Doctor Strange?
No.
Okay.
Adam Strange is... I think he's a lot like Flash Gordon, like the original kind of Flash Gordon, or maybe it was taken from... Like, He's in the DC universe. He goes back to Showcase number 17, November 1958. I think he's like in there with Hawkman. Says, if by fluke we were given the chance to ride a Zeta beam into space, meet a sexy alien princess on the planet Ron, and fight extraterrestrial threats with high-tech weaponry, I wouldn't want to go back to mundane Earth life either. That makes us completely sympathetic to Adam Strange's plight. Yeah, it's like, he gets zapped with this Zeta beam, and he just transports back to Ron. And like I think they even call him the hero of Ron or the champion of Ron or something like that. And he just looks like a early pulp, adventurer. Like he kind of has a rocket pack, like Rocketeer, kind of a jumpsuit kind of thing. And he's like a blend of Flash Gordon and John Carter of Mars, like some of those early pulp characters.
So he's like no powers, or only powers on a certain planet?
I think he's just a normal guy and gets away with like ray guns and jetpacks and.
Okay.
I don't have anything. Oh, I know the name. I recognize the character. I think they used him in that Justice League New Frontier animated movie. He might have shown up in the kind of final battle in that. That's an amazing animated movie and a graphic novel, but I think he's in that. But
is he kind of like I get confused with Star-Lord because he had powers on his daddy's body planet.
Yeah.
I don't know if he does outside of that, but it sounds similar to that with like,
yeah, human with
space
some
technology, but he's human. And,
yeah. I think he just comes out of that age of like 1958, so it's like 50s,
Space
60s
race.
sci-fi space race kind of stories, just anything anyone could come up with to, he gets hit by a Zeta beam and transports back to this planet, and over there it's like he fights for the people of Ron and gets them out of jams, and then kisses the girl and then gets zapped back to Earth or something like that. He never wants to be here, he wants to be back there, but like it's only, I don't know if it's a random thing or if it's what, I don't know when the Zeta beam decides to blast him back, but it's something.
I thought it was like they called him to save them kind of thing.
Maybe it is that. I don't know why they wouldn't just keep him there all the time. I don't know.
Maybe they can like keep him for 48 hours or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Weird.
So,
intriguing.
Yeah. There's something to
I'll take
check
that
out.
over Phony Bone guy.
Yeah.
So I'd say we could end on that one.
Sounds good.
All right, I didn't do too bad.
No, we had some weird ones there at the end, but 3 out of 5 is not bad.
Yeah, I'll take that. That's a win in my book.
Right on. Well, yeah, so let's end it there. We will be back soon with Robocop 3. So, you got anything else?
No, just hang in there through Robocop 3. We'll all get through this together.
That's right.
And you don't have to watch it. We already did.
We watched it for you, yeah.
Yeah, that's the kind of heroes we are.
Yeah. Well, until then, stay safe out there, citizens.
Thanks for listening to the podcast. Find the show on Facebook and Twitter at Real Comic Heroes. All music and audio are the property of their respective creators.